Live from the Omni Hotel post-game celebration bowl 2023. Are we live? We're live, but you're not hearing me? Okay. Test 1 2, test 1 2. Let me make sure are we live? Are we live? We are live. It's going out. It's the O&G Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Marcus Green, A.D. Drew, Kelvin Rozier, and forever with us, this guy right here. Is with us in spirit, in thought, in every way, from fans that we ran into. Have all the words as the final minutes and seconds of the game. I don't know. I'm just going to keep talking and hope that we got audio. As the final seconds of this game were going down, I just had to soak up this game and this moment, and just, Kelvin, you had some thoughts as this game was going down, man. Express your thoughts on where your thoughts were as these final seconds of this game were down.
Well, all I could think about was Kofi, and had he been here, and witnessed this season, I could hear him first, probably hurting my shoulder because he jumping on me, shaking the mess out of me, and I. Oh, he would have definitely. Oh, and that interception, he would have definitely
run the damn ball. Yeah,
run the ball, coach. What are we doing? What are we doing? But no, I just thought about the journey for this team and this season, and really all the this year. As a matter of fact, the FAMU has had such a successful athletic season in multiple sports, and to kind of culminate that with this championship today. I know Kofi is smiling in heaven and looking down. And he might have had something to do with some of those plays that went our way in the fourth quarter.
We definitely had. Hey, we knew we had some. We knew we had an angel with us on that field, no doubt. Marcus, your thoughts as the final seconds tick down.
Well, I was going through it. I mean, I went emotional high when we were up, emotional, when the interception happened. But as the clock ticked down, I thought about Kofi. I thought about Coach Simmons. I thought about this team. I thought about our school and what in the last, 6 years, 2017, Alex Woods last season, when we had one win. And now 6 years later, we're Black College National Champs going 12-1 with our only loss being to an FBS team. So just the journey, rising from the ashes throughout all those things, the turnovers with ADs, presidents getting stable in the president's office, finally getting stability in the athletic director's office, and getting stability as a coach, at the head coach. And that's all that was going through, and just so much pride in everyone that had a hand in it.
Drew, your thoughts, final seconds. And we were working. Drew and I were working stats together. So I know in the moment it's hard to watch the game, but when it was all said and done, Drew, share your thoughts, please.
My thoughts, honestly, get these plays right. Hope that there are no errors on here when people, because when people go and frame this and go back and look at the stats of this game, who did what, when, all the completions, the rushing yards, the interceptions, and everything. You know, honestly, I was like, this is gonna have my signature on it, my name on it, because I was the lead statistician for the game. Brian was on the crew. You know, there's a crew of 3 of us that do the stats for the game and making sure that everything is correct, because 20 years from now, 30 years from now, people are gonna look back at that, and I will know. No one else will know, but I will know that was my work that went into those numbers, producing those numbers, along with a couple of other people. And then, honestly, that last minute, I was like, please, let's get this first down so we can take a knee.
45 years ago on this very day was the last time Florida A&M won a national championship on the field. And there have been Black College National Championships for FAMU since then, but to win an undisputed national championship today on the anniversary of that is special. I bumped into Al Chester. I bumped into Al Chester, quarterback of that 78 championship team. What are you shaking your head? No, Albert Chester was he was not the quarterback of the 79 team that beat Miami because he graduated. He was the quarterback of the 77 unbeaten and the 78 national championship team. Thank you. Let me finish. You know so much. I love you, Roy, but you know, no. He told, don't get me see. He was telling about the
producers need to produce. Let host.
Let me rewind again. I ran into.
Hey, this is what I've been dealing with all day.
Yeah, BCS
where my cigar at? That's what I need to know. Where my cigar?
I ran into Al Chester, quarterback of that team, like 2 different times this morning. I ran into him coming down to get a cup of coffee. And, and then running into him on the way as we're leaving the hotel to go to the stadium. And so it all feels special, magical for those of us. I mean, I don't know anybody here. Let me see. Yeah, you were babies. You were. I don't remember FAMU. FAMU wasn't a part of my life back in '78.
I was at the Miami game, and I was at the airport when the team flew back from Wichita, Texas.
Okay.
To Tallahassee, and won the championship. So I have very fond memories of the late '70s.
Anybody else here? Drew, Marcus.
Bro, I was 1978. I was 6 years old in St. Louis, Missouri.
Just said no
and had no idea what a FAM or you was.
Right. Anyway, Roy's godfather was a member of the Marching Hundred. Okay, so to be able to witness this for another generation, a new generation of Rattlers that have gone through, we've gone through the years and the MEAC titles, the SWAC titles, the lows of we're just gonna say the wasteland of the teams. We can call that the wasteland where we at the walking through the desert era, that decade, which we ain't gonna talk about that decade, but for Coach Simmons and his staff to put it all together is really special. And so I'm happy not only for the former players who got a chance to kind of be a part and see this and see these guys represent us so well. Just jump in there, Drew. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say I just thought about something. This is the 4th venue that I have witnessed a Florida A&M victory in this city. The original Atlanta Classic, 1989, Bobby Dodd Stadium, at the campus of Georgia Tech.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I was at the first one.
Okay.
Then Fulton County Stadium.
I remember that. That was my freshman year. I remember that. Fulton County Stadium.
Then the Georgia Dome right before the Atlanta Classic went away.
And all that stuff. Yeah. Right.
And then let's see. I was not at
And this was our first time
I've
playing
not been.
in the
I have
Mercedes-Benz
not.
Stadium, wasn't it?
Yes, first time in the bands. I don't think I've been at. I don't think I was at FAMU and with Center Park or Georgia State Stadium as it was called then. I think I missed that one. But no, they didn't play. They haven't played there. I take that back. They haven't played there because when they played the BX Swag Challenge, it was in Birmingham. So I have witnessed a victory in 4 different venues, every venue in Atlanta that we have played in the last 30 plus years.
Yeah, another tidbit, and I was sharing this with Kelvin on the way over. Yeah, I was telling Kelvin this on the way over, and I was telling my wife when I was coming down here, like 25 years ago, when we were getting ready, we're in the semifinals against Youngstown State, and we were up 24-13. I had airline tickets pulled up, hotel reservations. I was just waiting to hit the button, and when we lost that game, I think the only other loss that I felt as bad was, my Falcons losing the Super Bowl. But 25 years later, actually, I think it's 24 because that was 99. So 24 years later, now we get the crown a champion, an undisputed Black college champion, regardless whether it was FCS playoffs or the Celebration Bowl. We can now say that we are the champions.
And I don't know if you guys realize, it's been a whole generation since FAMU has played in Atlanta. There's been a whole generation of Rattlers who have grown up and do not know what we experience as students and young alumni with the Atlanta Classic here in Atlanta. So for the new generation of Rattlers to be reintroduced to Tallahassee North, man.
And we'll add our 5th stadium, Marcus, next year when we open the season back in Atlanta at Center Park Stadium, which used to formerly be Turner Field. So that would be our 5th venue to get rid. But back to this game, of course, final score 30-26. Disappointing for those of us who had FAMU -6 or 6.5, 7. But if you grab the opening line of 4, winner for you, or at least a push. But just going through some of the statistics in case you wanted to know. First downs, FAMU 19 first downs to 11. Rushing yards, I thought this was the most interesting stat of the night. Howard, 28 rushes for 81 yards. FAMU, 35 carries for 68 yards. And I swear there was one point in the third quarter where we didn't have much of going anything in terms of the running game. Who is Roy trying to bring in? Because I know we're down here in the lobby. Coach Henry? Yeah, we talked to Coach Joe Henry coming in. Coach Henry.
Doing great.
Coach, we were everybody. Coach Joe Henry, our OC coordinator. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Talk a little about the emotions of this game, just from waking up this morning. The preparation and just all that. Now that it's over.
That's right. So it was a late night last night. I mean, we were as coaches. I was up sitting in my bed till 1 a.m. Just trying to make sure everything was, all the plans were straight. Call sheet had to be, finalized, and Coach Simmons was there working on it as well. So, we got that done late. You wake up early. It's the earliest kickoff that we've had so far. The guys were awake and they were ready to roll. I think there's an advantage for playing team run every Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. That helps you out because you can't say, noon's an early kickoff when you're banging heads at 6:30. So the guys did a good job of getting ready to roll. They did a really good job of persevering through the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the game, the positives and negatives, everything. They stayed even keel. They continued to grind. They kept their nose down. They worked hard. They stayed together. That was one of the things that I was most proud about because we didn't have a lot of success early.
Right.
But there was no pointing fingers. There was no griping, no complaining, no moaning. They stuck together and they finished this thing strong. Finished it the right way.
What did you see? What kind of challenges or maybe things did Howard do to limit our success early? I mean, what did you see? And then talk a little bit about maybe those halftime adjustments that you guys made.
Right. So anytime you have a bye week to prepare for somebody, there's definitely always that element, that factor of what are they going to do differently? What do they know about us because they've had extra time? they had 3 bye weeks.
Oh,
You know, they had a
right.
month. So they did a great job. Hats off to their coaching staff. They changed a good bit about their game plan. You know, they played us pretty differently. You know, we had 2 weeks. So we broke down 5 games. We went back and watched all the games just to get a good feel for them, who they are, how they call it, their personnel. But they played us differently than they had any other team this season. And they had a really solid plan. So hats off to those coaches for the way they prepared their young men and the plan that they had. You know, at halftime, there were no major adjustments. It was just a matter of it was. Can I talk, buddy, and then I'll let you say something in a minute? Got a deal? All right. They did a great job at halftime of just making sure we tighten the screws a little bit, so to speak. You know, Coach Simmons called the plays aggressively tonight, and a couple of them were high risk, high reward, and they ended up hitting, which was always rewarding.
Yeah. Marcus, Kelvin, you guys want to jump in there and ask anything, Coach?
No, I already talked to Coach earlier, you know, outside the locker room. Yeah. Hey, we champions right now, man. I'm ecstatic, man. That's all, you know, that's the bottom line. I want Coach to enjoy himself, enjoy his family.
We're going to do that.
And like I told him in private, I will say in public, just thank you. Thank you for how you represent the program, how you coach the guys. The guys are a reflection of our coaching staff and their class that they don't get in trouble. They go to class. And they champion. So just thank you.
That's right. Well, thank y'all. Thank you, Rattler Nation, for the support and the backing and the love. We hear you. We feel it. Please just continue to stay with us, support us, love on these boys, love on these guys. You know, let them know that you appreciate them. You know, especially the big boys. Like, there ain't no stat for a pancake block. You know, there's no stat that says, hey, you pass protected 41 times tonight and didn't allow anybody close to the quarterback. So a lot of times, though, their work goes unnoticed, and that's part of the job description. But anytime you can throw a little bit of love their way, you know, they appreciate it in a big way.
Absolutely.
You bet. Garrett, what do you want to say? You want to say go Rattlers?
Go Rattlers.
All right.
That's right.
Appreciate you, Coach. Enjoy the rest of the night. Safe travels. We'll catch you up back in Tallahassee. All right, Coach. All right, Coach Joe Henry. Hey, look, and there was moments when, you know, one of the key stats, we talked about that rushing. I was surprised. I really thought our offensive line would dominate more. I really did. Credit to Howard. Definitely credit to Howard. Penalties. You know what? They really weren't that major. I mean, honestly, I thought
critical ones, but there were critical ones, but it didn't seem like some games where we just had like a slew of penalties that just didn't work.
7 penalties for 68 yards. They had 5 for 60. That's about average for them. 7 for 68 is low for us. And really, you know, there were so many people that talked about the penalties post game. You know, a lot of people in the hallways that we were talking.
3 in a row that they had in the middle of that one drive in the third quarter.
That was
the timing of it. Yeah, that one drive was
there were
tough.
critical plays.
And then on the kickoff.
Yeah.
That was the other critical penalty.
And the one where the defensive one that took the face mask that took the defensive TD off the board. So they're like 5 critical penalties out of the 7 that either took points off the board or put Howard in a good position or put us in a bad position.
So when you think of this game, you know, a lot of people talked about it was a good game, post game out in the hallway. I think there's another segment that will look at it from the perspective of the officiating. I think this was a MAC crew, Mid-American Conference crew. A lot of people will have issues. And in another segment, we'll look at some, like Coach said, high risk, high reward. Play calling was that there'll be another segment which we'll complain about that. When you look at overall thoughts on this game, how will you remember, outside of winning it, how will you remember this game? Or how do you think people should view this game?
I think the way this game played out was emblematic of the entire season. We had penalties that took some things off the board. A couple of games we got behind. A couple of games we had to scrap and fight back. But in the end, we won the game. So I think if it was a microcosm of a lot of the games, that we saw this season, and the defense came through and closed it down. So those three things, fighting through penalties, getting behind a little bit, having some adversity, and then turning it on, and then the defense closing it out. Pretty much, if we were to put this in a time capsule, just for this one season, this game had it everything.
Yeah. For me, it eerily reminded me of the Texas Southern game when we went down 14 points early to Texas Southern. And I was telling Brian that up in the booth. But unlike the Texas Southern game, our opponent, after we came back and took the lead, fought back in that game. Whereas the Texas Southern game, our opponent kind of folded at that point. And I said this, if you go back and rewind Sunday's show, which coach is going to reach into their bag of tricks and pull out that play that they was running in fall camp back in August, and what we gonna be talking about it post game? Either it worked and it was a good play, or it didn't work and what the F? And we had both of those for FAM today.
For me, it's about perseverance. And this team has shown that resiliency the entire season. A lot of things didn't go our way. We got off to a bad start, got down 14-0. We didn't play well. You know, we had some communications issues up front. We turned the ball over. We scored touchdowns and had them taken off the board. A lot of things didn't go our way. But this team was pretty much not impacted by it, right? They just kept playing. I think the thing I always emphasize with this team that separated us from every other team in FCS and HBCU specifically was that we had a defense we could rely on.
Yep.
Our offense could be off some. They could be average sometimes. And our defense was always going to keep us in games and if need to win us games. And that's the way this game played out. You know, after the pick six and the Howard regained the lead, it was the defense that shut the door and got the interception to ice the game once the offense scored. So that's what I think about. I think about perseverance, which is a great character for a championship team. Championship teams find ways to win. And this team found ways to win all season. And then, of course, a stellar defense going in. My projection was that this defense could be one of the best in the history of FAMU, and this defense will be somewhere in the talk of one of the best in the history of FAMU.
Here's one other thing. We were down 16-10 in the second quarter.
Halftime.
No. But I'm talking about before we got to halftime. And I looked down at the stats. FAMU had 77 yards of total offense. FAMU had 77 yards passing. Howard had held us to a net 0 yards late in the second quarter. For FAMU to come back and actually finish the game with over 100 yards rushing after having 0 in the second quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that we almost doubled Howard up from did we double him up offensively production? Almost double. We're just shy of doubling him up offensively, considering how Howard dominated us offensively early in the game. It says something about the halftime adjustments that FAMU was able to make.
Howard scored 26 points. We all, not even jokingly, we all said, how in order for them to get over 21 points, how is it gonna have to come? Us doing things. We gave up a safety,
right?
Safety, that was 2. And then of course the pick 6. Yeah. So they got 9 points. And
don't forget the kickoff, the opening kickoff.
The kickoff almost turned, the kickoff almost turned into a touchdown.
It did.
Well, it led to a touchdown, but it almost was a touchdown in itself.
And the second drive was a short drive. Also, they had 14 points and had only like 50 some odd yards of total offense.
We were down 14-0. So I mean, I was looking at the clock like, what the heck was going on? You know, because we hadn't even gotten to like the first TV timeout. We already down 14-0.
Yeah, and to your point on Brian that you was making, at halftime I looked at all the stats, and FAMU was leading all the stats at halftime. We were behind on the scoreboard,
except
but
for
we-
rushing.
but
But
we
they
were pretty
didn't have
much-
a whole lot of rushing yards. They didn't have a
Yeah.
whole lot, but a little.
Yeah.
They were leading still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we,
well, we were
we,
minus
didn't, we
13.
didn't have a lot of we didn't try to run the ball a whole lot that first half, to be honest. But you know, sometimes you can lose a stat battle and still win the war, and we won the war.
Let me go through a few more stats.
I was gonna say before we get there, it's kind of ironic that despite our rushing deficiencies in the first half, that a running back winds up being the game MVP on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I missed that. Who was the offensive MVP? So Kelvin Dean was the offensive MVP. Dean, 3 catches, 87 yards. Of course, he caught 2 touchdowns, none bigger. Those 2 back-to-back scoring drives in the fourth quarter, a 21-yard pass from Musa, and then the 53-yard run in which he caught a ball out in the flat and just gone. I mean, just turned on the jets and was gone. I didn't think that play was going to turn into
route.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to. I didn't think it was going to turn into a 53-yarder, but it did. Rushing, Terrell Jennings, 19 carries, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Dean, just 3 carries and 10 yards. Jaquez Yant, 4 carries, 5 yards. Jamari Sharif, 2 for 4. On the receiving end, I already mentioned Dean. Jamari Sharif, 5 catches, 56 yards, and a score, which, I mean, that flea flicker was awesome. And the fact that Moose caught that, because the pitch back to him wasn't perfect, but it almost was. It was off, but it was enough for him to kind of get out a little bit to his right. And, I mean, good catch and good throw. I mean, but Sharif had that guy beat by 6 yards. So,
yeah.
And I know, Moose had 3 touchdown passes, 19 of 32, 3 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, 289 yards, was sacked twice. But, he had 1 touchdown that was just outside of Sharif's hands. Had another one, I think was it Dean or Riley? Outside of Riley's hands. And and then if y'all were like these buttholes over
and
here.
And Nick Dixon.
And
Nick Dixon.
Oh, Nick Dixon was down at the 1. So he tossed it down at the 1. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was that play. Look, biggest play for me, 4th and 5. And Musa hits a 15 to 20-yard strike to, was it Kamari? And that was not like a play of the game. That
was a contested throw.
That was a contested throw.
Kamari did a really good job. Yeah.
Around. I mean, he did a great job there.
Yeah. Yeah. Kamari was killing him. They had no matchup for him. We probably should have featured him more and went to him a little more. He delivered today every time we went to him.
And we talked about that, I believe, on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kamari talked about using the tight ends.
Yeah.
Because we knew that they had I guess one of the top rated pass defenses in FCS, but the tight end spot might be a vulnerability.
Hey, I want to commend Howard.
Oh,
they like Coach say, their effort was great. They were underdog, but they stayed within what they could do. They didn't try to, they knew they was gonna have to try to play keep away. They was gonna have to try to run the ball, and they understood that if they get behind the sticks and they had to throw, then that was gonna be the Achilles heel, and it ended up being the Achilles heel because the quarterback threw three interceptions. So
yeah. I was gonna add. You want to talk about Howard? What was his name? Wes Hinton, who had the interception on the wide receiver screen. Give them credit. That is the art of film study. That is film study at his best. Obviously, he picked up something. Watching FAMU's film.
That's not a complicated play.
But here's the thing. All the receiver's job out there, the other two's job is to chip that guy and not let him get there.
Right.
But He happened to get to the right
jumped-
spot where
Well,
they
he
couldn't-
jumped it immediately.
Right,
I
but
mean,
they-
he read it. He read it from his.
but how is it?
Yeah.
He didn't allow them to chip him
Yeah.
because he knew the play. He read the play.
Yeah, he slipped.
They didn't. They
Yeah.
weren't. They couldn't chip him. And next thing you know, 27 yards, and Howard is back into the ball
Yeah,
game.
he
When
almost
FAMU
had-
was trying to close it out.
To that point, he almost had to reach back to catch that ball. He jumped it so quick that he was there before the ball got there.
Trying to think of any other significant, impactful plays that
Stopped us on we were short 4th down early in the game. I don't know. I can't remember.
Horrible spots.
that. Yeah,
Two, because the 3rd down spot, it was a 1st down also
yeah.
on that play. And then the 4th, when Musa did the sneak, it was no question.
There was
His whole body was.
And what was
passed
so
through.
funny is where we were, we saw the line judge on the Howard side from where he was coming in spotting the ball.
He was beyond the
His
4-yard
spot
line.
was on the line, and then when you saw the actual spot be
Behind
a half a football behind, you're just thinking, okay, where was the review? And that's the part. Now they ended up going. What's funny, you guys didn't see this. If you were in the game and you saw it, they ended up going to a commercial.
It was a media because of the
The
media
changeover,
contract,
turnover and
the
downs.
turnover, change of possession. It was time for a media timeout. So during that, there looks like they were having discussions about whether that play was going to be reviewed during the
Which it
media.
should have been. I don't
media
understand how it
timeout.
was not reviewed.
Then we were wondering if Coach Simmons was going to throw the red flag to force the review. And with that being in the first quarter,
Hold on.
I think he did not want to
Yeah,
burn
hold on.
a
Is there- No,
review.
let me stop you for a second. There's no red flag in college
Yes,
football.
yes, there is.
Anybody seen a red flag in college football?
Yes.
I mean, speak up. I haven't seen a. I'm just
Yes.
trying to think. No,
You
no.
can't-
You're
you
thinking
can't challenge.
NFL.
No, you can challenge in college.
But there's no red flag. I've never seen a red
Yes, you
flag.
can
You've seen a
challenge.
red flag?
You can challenge in
No.
college.
Okay, but anyway, go ahead. You said that, and I was sitting there like, red flag. I'm saying, I was. We were. No. Anyway, but there should have been a challenge. Somebody should have reviewed that.
And the referee should have at least went over to the monitor with a booth review
Right.
to verify the spot. And there were a couple other reviews in the game that, from where we was at, we did not think they needed a review, but they did go over to verify. And actually, one of them, when FAMU was rushing to the line, it was right before the touchdown.
After it's the Nick Dixon catch.
Okay, at the 1 yard line.
Yes.
That they tried to rush to the line
They did.
because they knew.
Oh, and they wanted to
knew
review
they
that.
didn't want that review. But
Yeah,
that's
so
the
that's
one that
somehow
they
review
got the
went into
buzz.
that. I couldn't understand that. You can go review that one, but you can't review
The
that play in
turnover on
yeah,
down.
and that was a big drive because
That
we
would
were
have been
down-
our first
right,
touchdown
we were
of the
down
game.
14-0. We're in the first quarter driving, and we're in the red zone. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the decision to go for it versus kicking a field goal, we should have got the first down. We should have been given the first down. You got all these cameras. You got the sky cam right above us, all that stuff. That should have been reviewed.
We were going to go for it because I know in big games, because we've seen it. We've had 3 years of data. In big games, Coach Simmons, he gets real aggressive. He went for it. I remember in his first year in the Florida Classic in 2018, and it was kind of a similar down in distance, and he went for it. So I kind of knew he was going to go for it, and I thought we had it.
Well, he's got the luxury of the top ranked defense in FCS.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, and we got big bats, and we have been pretty successful the last 5 games in running the ball. So I get that. I have no problem with it.
The other reviewable, questionable call happened. Now, I believe this is in the fourth quarter. FAMU had just gone up 24-16, and we're kicking off to Howard. I believe this is where the ball was. All right, so if you believe that ball that was kicked was a fumble, as it looked like to – okay, so it was a kick. The returner –
He tried to field the ball.
It was a muff.
Well, he tried to
he
field the
fielded
ball.
it.
He
He
came up
fielded
to the 4 yard
He
line.
fielded it.
If it bounced off his arm,
Yes.
and then it rolled into the end zone.
But as speaking of somebody who's been a former official, former football official, that was a buff.
You weren't saying that in the booth.
He never
weren't
had
saying
clear
it.
possession
You weren't saying that in the booth.
because I didn't see it till I saw the replay.
Okay, all right.
But he never had in order for it to be considered a fumble, he has to actually possess it and make a football move, i.e., take a step.
But see, here's
which
my
he did
problem.
not.
But it was a live ball.
It was a live ball.
Now he gave him
Right.
and
because he touched it in the end zone and gained possession in the end zone, it immediately became a touchback, which led to, and I ain't gonna lie, and
now he took
as
a
a player, I probably would have did the same thing. As a coach, I understand. I probably would have had my players do the same thing going forward. And it was not a shot to the head, but it was a defenseless.
Well,
player.
what you're talking about is as the Howard returner catches the ball, he tracks it into the end zone, takes a knee,
but he never really picked the ball up.
No, he didn't.
He left the ball on the ground and he put his hand on the ground
got
to
a
a knee.
Now, as he did that,
so I don't think our coverage team knew
what was going on.
Because the whistle didn't blow.
Because they're thinking it's a safety opportunity.
Right. They knew it was a live ball.
Right. And he had his back to it. And that's when Jalen Glaze.
So he never picked it up.
Yeah, that's when Glaze came in and popped him in the back with his shoulder pad. They thought they wanted to review it for targeting. And they threw a flag on that, which, it is what it is. What was also curious, though, about that play, I don't know if anybody caught this. We were thinking that it was a 15-yard penalty, right? Because it would have spotted from the 25 out to the 40, but it was only apparently a 10-yard penalty.
That was the referee's.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Okay, because
that should have been
that drive started at the 35.
Because that was either a personal foul or targeting. Both of them are 15 yards. The only difference is targeting comes with an ejection, whereas the other one is just 15 yards. So they spotted the ball as if it was a punt, which a touchback on the punt is from the 20, instead of the 25, whereas a touchback on the kickoff. I think that was a mistake on the official's part right there.
FAMU.
That rule, though. I mean, I sent you stuff in text during the game. I still don't understand why that wasn't a safety. Well, it's been explained to me. You guys explained it to me. I don't necessarily agree, but I don't write the rules.
Yeah, it's a bad rule.
So Howard started from the FAMU or from their own 35-yard line, went 6 plays, 43 yards. We fortunately held them to a 40-yard field goal. There was also in that field goal attempt, there was no real rush or pressure. All right, so we only got about 5 or 10 minutes, I'm told. So there was very little pressure. Did you notice that on the field goal attempt by FAMU? And somebody had said that the team thought, or it looked like the team thought somebody moved on the line.
It was the left guard that everybody was pointing at. I think it was like 54 or 56 or something like that.
54 was it was whoever was next to the center.
Left guard.
I didn't see it, but anyway, I thought it was just, hey, don't commit a penalty that gives them the ball back. We're up by 8. We'll be okay. We're down 5.
One last observation since we talking about this officiating. I thought they over officiated, but I didn't know you could get a penalty for a blindside block when it's a running play at the line of scrimmage.
The one they called on Musa.
That made no sense.
The one they called on Musa was BS. That was not a blind. That was a great block by Musa. I would
disagree because
really?
he hit him behind. He hit him on the backside.
I'm gonna go have to look
at that. The rule says you have to get your head and your shoulder around.
All right.
So once again, that's me being a former official, understanding that rule.
That 2-point
taking
conversion,
the fad out
that
of
2-point conversion after the Sheree touchdown. That was the most drunk, ridiculous. Because I think there were 3 flags on the play. Somebody got ejected for spitting. I mean, really? You mean how?
TJ Lee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was Lee.
That was crazy.
He was.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why I said when in its entirety, FAMU had 3 moments, really 3, where you could say we only committed 7 penalties, but they were critical. They were memorable regrettable.
They led a Howard
And they
touchdown,
led the Howard
or
touchdown.
they took touchdowns off the board
for
from
us.
us.
Yes.
How many yards do we have?
Only what do you mean?
Penalties.
68 yards.
And we just described 45 of them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, that's pretty much most of the statistics from this game. I want to give a shout out on the defensive side of the ball. Johnny Chaney Jr., 11 total tackles. Deco Wilson, 7 total. Isaiah Major with 6, including 1 tackle for loss. Sharif Save, 7, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Isaiah Major, interception. Kendall Bowler, interception. Those were huge. Deco Wilson. So, I mean, we picked off Quentin Williams 3 times in the ball game. We pretty much made him. I said going in, the guy I was worried about was Eden James. He was their most productive guy. 55 rushing yards, even though he didn't score the touchdowns. He was the one that, look, he had a couple of runs that I was like, wow, he almost broke those. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, champions.
Yeah.
You're going to break this game down any number of
ways.
We
are swag. We saved the swag.
See, Coach Riz. Nah.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, hold on. Put that down real quick. Get Coach Riz in here. Yeah. Keep the shades on.
There you go, Coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best recruiting coordinator in college football right here. You helped bring a lot of these guys in. Coach, talk about the pride and just what you've seen from these guys today on this field.
Well, I'll start by saying this. I mean, since our coaches Hideaway.
There you go. No, just bring it up to you a little bit. There you
I'll
go.
start by saying this. Since our coaches Hideaway, Coach Simmons said that either we would go undefeated or lose 1 game. And we're here. So, I mean, he knew the talent that we had and the talent that we brought in. These guys, they locked in from week 0 through camp until now. And it's hard. You know, Tallahassee is a great place, a college town. There's a lot of stuff to get into. These guys kept their head on right, and they were dedicated to what we were doing.
We don't have much. I was saying, look in the bottom right corner to see how much the time it tells you. Okay. We don't have a lot of time. Cody, what's the one? You look back on this whole season. Is there any like what? And I had to put it into one thing, but give me something that you're like really super proud of or most proud of when you think back of this season. Maybe 1 or 2 things.
Well, I'll say this, man. I'm proud to say of the guys that I was directly involved with bringing home, but the local guys that I was able to bring home that were at other places and they were unhappy, they were looking for a home, and I was able to bring them home along with Coach Simmons and our staff, Kelvin Dean, Marcus Riley, Jacquez Yant, and numerous others. I'm so proud and so happy that we were able to help those kids gain a different love for the football game, and everything we promised them, it happened.
And that's awesome. You mentioned Kelvin Dean, MVP, 2 awesome catches and runs. I mean, Coach, man, you guys, I tell you, Kelvin was telling Coach Henry, we have great guys, and we really do have great guys, and they are a reflection of you, Coach Simmons, the rest of the staff. Thank you. You know, I'm on behalf of Rattler Nation. We thank you, all of the coaches, for what you give to those guys, but and the way you all represent FAMU and the way they represent FAMU makes all of us alums proud. And so, you know, I'm gonna let you get out and enjoy this, man, because I know you going back to work probably on probably tomorrow morning.
Look,
Coach, you going back on the grind tomorrow, recruiting season.
Listen, no, I was working during the game.
Wow,
So
that's a
we
heads
have
up.
a big time recruit that's going to commit tomorrow.
Okay.
Everybody has been putting out all their recruits and who they're recruiting. I'll say this: it's hard to do recruiting when you're playing in the postseason.
Yeah.
So I'm learning that part. I'm learning that we expect to be back here next year, the same place. We expect to be back in the same place last year, so I'll be more prepared. But coming in this year, I didn't know what to expect, but now I know. But I was recruiting during the game, so we'll have a big time recruit tomorrow that's going to shake the game up, and we got more coming after that.
That Rattler, that bat signal.
It's already in the sky.
It's already in the sky.
Right, two times tonight.
The bat signal.
2 times.
The signal
tonight.
is up.
It's in the sky.
That's awesome. We appreciate it. No, you can't mention it. They gotta commit. They gotta sign. But when they commit, we'll know. Coach, appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you guys, Rattler Nation. We appreciate you guys for your support, for your all that you gave, from the money to just your presence. We appreciate you guys. Go Rattlers.
Coach Devin Rispress, best recruiting coordinator in college football. All right, gentlemen, come in here so we can close it out real quick. Watch your plugs. There you go. You're good. So we can close out this show. Thank you to everybody watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Make sure you follow the ONG Strike Zone at ONG Strike Zone. Go ahead and drop a donation if you want. But more importantly, Rattler Nation, I sent the tweet out about the Rattler Athletic Fund. We just won a championship. 41,000 people were in the stands. I'm going to guess 30 were Rattlers, if not 27. I need every Rattler in the sound of this voice who watched this game to go to the Rattler Athletic Fund, donate $18.87 to our athletic department. How
about 2023 for the championship year?
No, $18.87. If you want to do 2023, great, whatever. $18, $20, that amount of money, that $500,000 from 30,000 Rattlers is going to go to the athletic department. Help us buy 2 championship rings, one for the SWAC, one for the Celebration Bowl, and the extra surplus of nearly 300,000+ is going to help us do things for our athletic department. We need that.
Repeat.
We got to invest.
Some of the first things that the coaches and the players, when they came off when they were on the field after the game was over, one of the first things they would say to me, to my surprise, was, "Hey, we finna do this again."
Yes.
You'll see some of those clips coming up too, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, for them to repeat, we got to give it the resources. So make sure you support Rattler Athletics.
Rattler Athletics. That's the Rattler Athletic Fund. Go to @ONG Strike Zone on X. I sent a tweet out about noon, sometime right after kickoff. That's going to do it. Thanks to producer Roy. Thank you to everybody at the Celebration Bowl, Miss Jinx and the whole media staff for everything, making a great. Shout out to the BCSN crew who is in the house covering this game. We'll have more videos in the course of the week ahead.
Sports Wrap, what time we coming on tomorrow?
I have no idea. I can't even
think. It's going to be
a
special early edition of
I'm about
Sports
to go
Wrap.
get on one right now. I can't even think about tomorrow.
It's pineapple time. It's pineapple time,
baby. Things up. A-Town down.
Strike.
Champions, baby.
Strike.
Boom. We're SWAC. Save the SWAC. Damn right. Let's go. We're out of here.